Hello, 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 my dear grade 8 learner. Welcome to our online lesson. I'm your online teacher, Teacher Paul Kuria. Now, in our today's lesson, I promise you we're going to have one of the most interesting lessons that you've ever heard in social studies. Do you know what we're going to learn about today? The strand is people and relationships, and the substrand is scientific theory about the human origin. What can you see on your screen? In a minute or two, I want you to look keenly. Then we shall share on what we can see on our screen. And as you look at the picture or the pictures, what is coming to your mind? Good. I know you've made a reflection of what you can see on your screen. Now, allow me to take you back a bit about the theories about the human origin. We've three main theories about the human origin. So for so many years, the humankind has always wondered, where did the human beings originate from? And in that anxiety, that curiosity to know the origin of the human beings, they've come to conclude and to agree on three theories. The first one is the creation theory, where the human beings believe that the humans were created by a supreme deity or supreme being, that's God. And this theory is anchored in the religious books like the Bible and the Quran. And it explains the existence of a divine plan. So that's a theory about the human origin. The second theory is the traditional, or what we refer to as the myths and legends theories. Different communities have different, and they have their own stories about the human origin. Do you remember what we learned in grade 7? We looked at case studies of the Agikuyu in Kenya, the Maasai, the Nandi, and the Akamba. I request you to go back to what we learned in grade 7 and remind yourself about the traditional or the mythical theory. The other theory, which now we're going to look at length, in depth, in grade 8, is the scientific theory. The scientific theory is also known as the theory of Charles Darwin of evolution, the evolution theory. And this theory has been used to explain the origin of the human beings. This theory, as you've heard me tell you, it was developed by an English scientist called Charles Darwin in the 19th century. And this theory is based on scientific facts. Right? Good. On your screen, you can see an image of the originator of this evolution theory or this scientific theory. His name is Charles Darwin. Now, according to this theory, this scientific theory of evolution, humans and other living things, they developed over millions of years from simple states to the present complex states. And according to this scientific theory of evolution, humans evolved and developed from their primitive ape-like ancestors, the Pithecanthropus, to the modern people, the Homos, that they are today. That's me and you. So according to this theory, remember we've said all these are theories, the creation theory, the mythical theory, and now this scientific theory, that the scientific theory of evolution, it says that, all the followers of this theory, they believe that the human evolved. To evolve is to change from one form or one state to another state, or from one form to another complex form. So humans evolved and developed from their primitive ape-like ancestors, that's the Pithecanthropus, to the modern people they are today. The theory, that's the scientific theory of evolution, holds that a new species is better and more adapted to their environment than those they've evolved from. So, new evolution, new species that are better and they are more adapted to their environment than the previous species they've evolved from. Now, Africa is referred to as the cradle of human beings, the cradle of humankind. Now, scientists do agree that human beings first emerged in Africa before they spread to other parts of the world. And this is what has made Africa to be referred to as the cradle of human beings. So I think this is one of the reasons that we should be proud of being Africans, where we're saying it's the cradle of humankind or human beings. We've talked of scientific theory of evolution says that human beings evolved from one stage to another stage, to another stage, up to the modern man. That's you and me. Now, we look at the stages of human evolution. The human evolution took millions of years. Now, we are not talking about 10 years, 100 years, 200 years, 500 years. We are talking of millions of years, because someone might ask me, does it mean that my great grandfather or great grandmother was an ape-like creature? No, we are talking about a process that took millions and millions of years. And you said that the evolution of humans took millions of years, leading from simple ape-like creatures to the modern humans. And after a lot of research by the scientists, archaeologists, these are people who go out there into the field, they dig deep, then they look for, the what? The bones, uh, and then they take them to the lab, then they investigate. And after all that research has been done, they've identified the following key stages. So these are the key stages. I'm not saying that these are the only stages, but these are the key stages that you, my dear learner, should be able to know and also to explain them. The first key stage of human evolution is what we call Australopithecus, or the southern ape. Now, this Australopithecus or the southern ape lived about 4 million to 2 million years ago. I remember we said that this scientific theory of evolution says that this evolution or change from one, creature to another complex creature that's more adapted to the environment took millions and millions of years. So for the southern ape, lived about 4 million to 2 million years ago. Okay. What were the features of the southern ape? One, they walked on two legs. We call that bipedalism. You know the pedals of the bicycle? So the Australopithecus or the southern apes, they walked on two legs. Then they had a small brain. Okay. Then they could climb trees and live in the forest and grasslands. And an example of a southern ape is a southern ape referred to as Lucy. Okay, it's a name that was given to that southern ape or Australopithecus that was found in Ethiopia. That's the first key stage of human evolution. But I've not said that these are the only stages. Okay, you can do more research on other stages of human evolution, but these are the key ones that at this level you should be in a position to know. The second, and also on your screen, I'm displaying to you some other features of the southern ape or Australopithecus. The skeletal features, small brain, sharp protruding lower jaw, small canines, etc. And also, it's also showing the areas where um, the early humans that have been discovered. We move on to the second key stage of the human evolution. And the second stage of the human evolution is the Homo habilis. The Homo habilis is also referred to as the handy man from the word hands, okay? The handy man. Now, the Homo habilis is believed to have lived between 2.4 million to 1.4 million years ago. Imagine such a long period of time. What were the features of the Homo habilis? One, they were the first species to use simple stone tools. All right. Then they had a large brain. So their brain compared to the predecessors, the southern apes or the Australopithecus, the Homo habilis brains were a bit advanced. They had a larger brain. All right. And they lived in Africa, mainly in our country, Kenya and Tanzania. Don't you think this also gives us a reason to be proud to be Africans and also Kenyans? Good. On your screen, I'm showing you a picture of, not a picture per se. Someone will ask me, do you want to tell me they had cameras those years? No, it's an illustration, an artistic illustration of how the Homo habilis or the handyman look like. Okay, good. The third key stage of human evolution is the Homo erectus. Homo erectus, the upright man. The upright man is believed to have lived about 1.8 million to 3,000 years ago. You see, we are coming closer to where we are, from 2 million years, 4 million years of the southern apes. Now we are closer, though not that close, to between 1.8 million years and 3,000 years ago. What were the features of the Homo erectus? One, they walked fully upright like the modern human beings. And they were the first to use fire, and also they made advanced tools. The brain, if you look at from where we started with the southern apes, the Australopithecus, to the Homo habilis, and now the Homo erectus or the upright man, what is happening to the brain? It's becoming larger and larger. And I take you back to what we said about this scientific theory of evolution is that it's believed that the new creature, it's more advanced, all right, than the predecessor, than the previous one. So in terms of ability to walk, we see now Homo erectus is fully upright like the modern human. They've discovered the use of fire. They are also using advanced tools compared to the Homo habilis. The brain is becoming larger. They spread from Africa to Asia and Europe. And a good example, you remember what we talked about the southern ape? You remember us mentioning about Lucy from Ethiopia? Now, a good example of Homo erectus is the Turkana boy whose remains were discovered in our country, Kenya. So you should be proud to be a Kenyan. Are you proud to be a Kenyan? I've heard you say yes. Good. I'm equally proud to be a Kenyan, the cradle of humankind. Now, on your screen, have a look at an artistic impression of the Homo erectus, also referred to as the upright man. The fourth key stage, I'm insisting, key stage, because we've had other, stages, maybe in between and even before, is Homo neanderthalensis. This name pronunciation is not that easy. You need to do a lot of practice in pronunciation. The Neanderthals, all right? They lived, you see, we're still moving closer, though not that close. From millions of years, now we are in thousands of years ago. So lived between 400,000 and 40,000 years ago. What were the features? One, they had strong, stocky bodies that were adapted to cold climates. So I'm sure because you are a critical thinker, you started thinking critically. Why adapt to cold climate? So it goes without saying that they most likely they were not living in Africa because Africa, as we know, it's most times of the year it's warm. Okay. But now these ones, the Neanderthals, they had bodies adapted for cold climates. They used fire, see now, clothing, and hunting weapons. They also buried their dead. So you see, the social aspect of this stage is now well developed, where we've seen them, putting on clothes, they're burying their dead, and they showed early culture and beliefs. So they're getting closer to the modern man. And the Neanderthals, they lived in Europe and some parts of Asia. Good. Now, here we are with the Homo sapiens or the wise man. So by the mention of the word wise man, I know you know why he's called the wise man, because of the largest brain. The brain has been evolving and becoming larger, larger, and larger. So now they lived about 300,000 years ago to the present day. So I'm smiling because now, as you look at me, you're seeing a Homo sapien. And in as much as I can see you, but I believe I'm talking to a Homo sapien. So they've the largest brain. They developed language, culture, advanced tools, and so on and so forth. They became, more advanced. They created art, built shelters, and they started farming, about 10,000 years ago. And now the Homo sapiens, sorry, they spread all over the world. I've heard you mention from Africa because Africa is the cradle of the humankind. And on your screen, I'm showing you the stages of human evolution from the Australopithecus to Homo habilis, Homo erectus, the Neanderthals, and then we have the Homo sapiens. And now to the Homo sapiens sapiens, who is the modern man. Now, I've said these are the key stages, but there are other stages. You can research more for you to know the other stages. But the ones that we've learned are the key stages that at this level, you're supposed to do what? To master and to learn and to understand. Now, my dear learner, we've come to the end of the today's lesson, and I'm sure you've really enjoyed the lesson. You've learned much. I welcome you. Let's do more research. Keep on tuned for more videos, more recordings, and more lessons. I've been your online teacher, Teacher Paul Kuria. What do I say? Goodbye.